Hello students, today we are going to read the chapter The Little Girl from the English reader Beehive. The author is Catherine Mansfield. Before we start the chapter, let me tell you something about the author. Catherine Mansfield is New Zealand's most internationally famous author. She was a writer of short stories, poetry, journals, reviews, and changed the way short stories were written in English language. She lived her short life of 34 years to the full. She was among an emerging female professional class, and she saw herself as a writer first, a woman second. Catherine Mansfield was born on 14th October 1888 in New Zealand, and she died on 9th January 1923. Now let's discuss about the title of the story, The Little Girl. The title of the story refers to the main character, a girl named Kezia. The theme of the story is the relationship between children and their parents. And the writer, Catherine Mansfield, wants to tell us that children share a very important bond of love with their parents. A very special, a very important bond lies between parents and the children. Although when children are very small, when they are very young, they do not feel that their parents love them. Instead, they feel that the parents are strict and many actions of the parents seem unjustified to the children. When they are small, when they are very young. But as the children grow up, they realize that all the acts done by their parents were beneficial for them. The parents were concerned for them, and behind their being strict lies a bond of love, affection, concern for their children. The bond of love between parent and children has been highlighted through this story, The Little Girl. Now, before we read, do you feel you know parents better now? Than when you were much younger. So I told you that when children are very young, when they are small, and when parents try to make them understand the difference between right and wrong, the children, they feel that their freedom is being curbed. The parents are dominating them by instructing them do's and don'ts. But the same children, when they grow up, when they realize the realities of life, they realize that the parents, when they were strict, when they were concerned about them, when they used to instruct them, when they used to tell them to do this, to not to do that, it was for their own benefit. It was for the benefit of the children. It was for their good. Perhaps you now understand the reason for some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. So that means it is these particular actions refers in different ways. The parents try to tell the children about their dressing sense, about their hairstyles, about their living habits, about their food habits. Because in today's scenario, the young generation pester their parents for expensive mobile. They wear vulgar dresses, which gives odd look to their whole personality. And for the same, when the parents instruct them, advise them, tell them, so at that time they feel that the parents are very rude, the parents are very strict. But when they realize the realities of life, they understand that whatever the parents said, it was only for their good. So now let's start the chapter. The Little Girl by Catherine Mansfield. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. Now, figure to be feared, a person to be feared, a person feared. Here, the person feared is Kezia's father, the main character of the story. And she feared her father. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. That means when Kezia saw her father, she got scared, she was frightened, and she tried to avoid her father. She avoided in coming face to face with her father. Every morning before going to work, he came to her room and gave her a casual kiss. That means it was a routine. It was a monotonous routine. Whenever her father would be going to the office, before leaving the house, he would come to Kezia's room and would daily give her a kiss. To which she responded with goodbye. And when her father would give her a casual kiss, so she would always bid him goodbye. Father, and oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage. Probably find and carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. And when her father would kiss her, she would bid him goodbye. And when the vehicle by which her father would be going to the office, and when the sound of the vehicle would fade away, that means as the vehicle would go further and farther and farther, she would take a sigh of relief. She would feel relieved because for the whole day now she was not going to face her father. Because she feared her father, it is said in the beginning of the chapter. And she tried to avoid to come to face to face with her father. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my papers are out there. And bring my slippers. So as soon as her father, Kezia's father, would come home in the evening, he would start barking orders. He would start placing orders to the family members. And then he would ask to bring his tea in the drawing room. He would inquire if the paper hasn't come yet. And he would say that they should go and see if the papers are out there, and also he would order to bring his slippers. So as soon as he returned home, he would keep on placing orders, instructing everyone. Kezia's mother would call to her. So when her father would come home in the evening, Kezia would be standing near the stair. Kezia, her mother would call her. If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's foods. And then her mother would come to her and tell her if she is a good girl, she should go to her father and help him to take out his boots. Slowly the girl would slip down. Now slowly she would slip down the stairs, that will move unwillingly. Unwillingly she would go to her father, remove his shoes, move slowly still across the hall and push open the drawing door. And then unwillingly she would move slowly towards the drawing room, as she was instructed by her mother that she should go and take out her father's boots. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in the way that was terrifying to the little girl. And when she would reach her father's spectacles would be here up to the nose, and then he would look and when he looked at her through the spectacles, it was a very terrifying look of her father. That particular look of her father terrified her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them aside. Have you been a good girl today? And then her father would ask her that she should take out the boots from his feet quickly. And then he would question her. He would ask her if she had been a good girl throughout the day. I don't know, father. And then she would not be able to answer her father boldly. Instead, she would stammer, unable to speak. You don't know? If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. And her father imitated the way she said, I don't know. And he told Kezia that if she would stammer means haklana. If she would stammer, then her mother would have to take her to the doctor for treatment. She never stuttered with other people. He had quite given it up. She never stuttered with other people. But she stammered only in front of her father because she was afraid of him. She had quite given it up. That means stop doing. But only with father, because then she was trying hard to say the words properly. So she stammered only in front of her father. Because as soon as she would face her father, she would get scared, she was afraid. And she would try to choose the right word to speak with her father. And in the process of trying to choose the correct word, the particular word, she started stammering. But this case was not in front of other people who visited the house, either the friends or the relatives or the neighbor. But she used to stammer only in front of her father. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? And then her father he would see that she was stammering. She would be a little bit confused. So he would ask, what's the matter with her? Why are you looking so wretched about? And he would ask her why she was looking so wretched, unhappy, why she was so sad, why she was so unhappy. Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. And then he would ask Kezia's grandmother that if she would have taught her good manners and so that she should not stammer in front of her. And then on the brink of suicide, that means unhappy with her life. He felt that Kezia was unhappy with her life and that she did not want to live. That means whenever he saw that whenever she would be in front of her, she would start stammering, she would not be able to speak properly. So he used to get a little bit annoyed. with her behavior, with her peculiar, strange behavior. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully, and then he would hand her the teacup and ask her to take it to the kitchen, but instruct her that she should take it carefully. Otherwise, she might break them. With laughter, he was so big. His hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. And when Kezia would think about her father, Kezia was a small child, small girl, and her father had a very big, strong personality. And when, as she was afraid of her father, scared of her father, so here Kezia is scared of her father, and she's describing her feelings regarding her father, her views, and she feels that her father is a giant. His hands, his neck, all are very big or larger compared to her. She is a small child, and when you compare her father and Kezia, so there is a lot of difference in their physical appearance. So she feels that her father is a giant. Her hands, her necks, and especially his mouth was enormous, was very big, especially when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. And when she used to think about her father, she felt that her father was a giant, enormous beast. On Sunday afternoon, grandmother sent her to the drawing room to have a nice talk with her father and mother. So on Sunday afternoons, her grandmother would come to Kezia, and she would regularly, frequently send her to the drawing room so that she could go there and have talk with her mother and father. But the girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. So on every Sunday, when she would be instructed by her grandmother to go and talk with her father and mother, she would go. But what she would find, that her mother would be reading the magazines, the paper, and her father would be stretched on the sofa, lying on the sofa. His handkerchief on his face, and he would have covered his face with his handkerchief. His feet on the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. He would be sleeping there, taking a nap, and also snoring. The sound that is produced when a person is sleeping. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and slept. And she would sit there on a stool, gravely, very seriously. She would look towards her father until he woke up. When he would woke up, he would stretch his body and asked the time and looked at her. And then he would immediately ask, what was the time? And then his eyes would fall on Kezia. Don't stare so, Kezia. And when he would get up, woke up, he would see that Kezia would be sitting there, and she would be staring, looking at her in a very strange way. Then he would tell her that she should not stare in that particular manner. You look like a little brown owl. And here the father compared Kezia with the brown owl, because the way she used to stare with her eyes to her father. So for that reason, he compared Kezia with the brown owl. One day, when she was kept indoors and with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week. So one day she was suffering from cold and she was in a room. Grandmother came and she informed her Kezia that the next month was her father's birthday. Next week was her father's birthday, and suggested that she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. And grandmother suggested Kezia that it was a good opportunity for her to get closer to her father. Her father's birthday was next week. She should make a beautiful pin cushion out of yellow silk. And her grandmother suggested her, advised her, when she would present that beautiful gift made by her father would be very happy. And she would get close to her father. Laboriously, with a double cotton here refers to a particular thread. The little girl stitched three sides. So she was provided yellow silk by grandmother, and with great efforts, she stitched the three sides of that yellow silk. But was to fill it with. But now the question was still there. What she was going to fill in that cushion that she was going to make for her father. That was the question. The question lingering here was that what she should fill the cushion with. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into the mother's bedroom to look for scraps. Then she could have asked her grandmother at that time when she stitched the three sides of that yellow silk. She wanted to ask her grandmother, but at that particular time, her grandmother was in the garden. So she started wandering here and there, looking for scraps. Scraps are small pieces of clothes, yeah, you can say, or paper, and they are not important. They are of no use. So she was looking for some scraps of clothes or paper so that she could fill into that yellow silk and she could make the pin cushion for her father. And when she reached her mother's room, looking for scraps. Oh, the she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper. And as soon as she entered into the mother's room, she could see that on the table there was a lot of papers spread on the table. Gathered them up, tore them into pieces, and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side. She took all the paper that was there on the table in her mother's room. She tore the paper into small pieces, and then she stuffed them, put them into the silk cushion, and then she sewed the fourth side, and her pin cushion was ready. Her father's gift was ready to be presented to him on his birthday the next week. That night there was hue and cry in the house. And that night there was hue and cry. That means she could hear that her father was shouting at the top of his voice. He was very angry. Father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. She came to know that her father had written some speeches that was to be delivered at the port authority. And those important paper documents were lost. Rooms were searched. Servants were questioned. Finally, mother came to Kezia's room. And father was angry because such important documents were lost. The servants were asked everywhere. The papers were searched. And at last, mother came to Kezia's room. Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on the table in my room. And she came in and asked Kezia if she had seen some paper in her room. Oh yes, she said, I tore them up for my surprise. And she very innocently, calmly told her mother, oh yes, she had taken those papers from her room and tore them into small pieces and filled them in her cushion. The cushion for which she had put a lot of efforts, hard work. And it was going to be a birthday present for her father, which was next week. What screamed mother? What screamed mother? So when mother came to know that the important papers were torn by her and were stuffed into that cushion, she was shocked, taken aback. Come straight down to the dining room this instant. And she immediately told Kezia that she should come to the dining room very that and she was dragged down to where father was pacing to and fro, hands behind his back. And she was immediately dragged by her mother to the particular room in her bedroom where father was pacing up and down. He was tensed. He was pacing up and down because he was tensed, because such important papers were lost. He was concerned, and it had taken a lot of time for him to prepare those documents. So he was very much concerned, he was tensed, and so he was walking to and fro, that means up and down in the room, the particular place where he was. Well, he said sharply, and when he saw Kezia being dragged towards him, he could understand something. Mother explained, and mother explained everything to father. That what had happened with his important papers, what Kezia had done with those papers. He stopped and stared at the child, and he immediately stopped pacing up and down. And in a very angry mood, or with the red eyes, he stared at Kezia. Did you do that? And he immediately shot a question to Kezia. If she had done that, if she had really torn those important papers. No, she whispered. So she already, when she saw the angry tone, her father's angry mood, and she could not say anything. She just said, no, she said, and whispered, Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. And he immediately ordered his mother, that means Kezia's grandmother, that she should go to her room and fetch down that damned thing. That is, damn thing here refers to the pink cushion that was made by Kezia for her as her father's birthday present, which was falling next week. So her father asked Kezia's grandmother that she should immediately go to her room and bring that thing which had stuffed his important documents, papers. See the child put to bed this instant, and he also told his mother that she should immediately take the child to bed.